Alright, good morning everyone. Taking a quick look at Bitcoin here. What I'm seeing on the mid to lower time frames. Just removing everything from the chart. Trying to have like a fresh look on everything here. Trying to stay objective. Trying to stay off Twitter because there's a lot of kind of FUD going around at the moment. I'm not sure that the run is over just yet, but I'll explain why in a sec. So if you've watched any of the other videos, you'll know that essentially how I determine if price is trending. Obviously you look for higher highs and higher lows, right? But it's what we see at the higher lows around here and where price revisits that kind of tells me if we're actually trending. Okay, so when we form the higher lows, I like to see accumulation, which looks like this, which is literally just the broken base pattern. So we have a low, the high that sweeps the low, then we break above and retest. If we can see this pattern around the origin of each higher low, and then when we return to the higher low, can we form this pattern again? And can we manipulate below lows along the way? So, okay, and if we don't see this pattern at the previous leg, do we manipulate below that previous leg into another level and then form this pattern? So an example of that is here. We don't see that pattern. We manipulate below and then we form the pattern right here, forming an obvious low that we can then use for retests. Okay, so I'm in a little bit of a situation here where, like I just explained, in a bull market you want to see a retest of these bullish levels. Okay, and then once you see the retest, you want to see further confirmation. So you want to see the pattern then repeat itself once we retest. On the Coinbase chart, you can see we haven't actually moved below or invalidated this low. But then if you go onto some other exchanges like FTX, for example, you'll see that we've swept below the low, therefore invalidating the previous market structure, meaning that based on my strategy rules, we should be looking for an actual short here. There's not enough evidence to say that we should be shorting, but just taking a look at this, we have a bunch of equal highs here, right here, right here. And then you can see we kind of deviate above that, both of those equal highs, and start to distribute. Now I was lucky enough to catch a short on Ethereum on the lower time frames, but it's a similar setup, so I'll just go through it here on Bitcoin. So if we run above, if we're in a bull trend and we run above equal highs, previous all-time highs in particular, and then start to distribute above those all-time highs, then that's a solid sign that we're in for a retrace. Now, if that retrace then leads to a break in the previous levels of accumulation, then that suggests that we're in for an even deeper retrace or possibly a potential market change. Okay, now that doesn't mean I'm saying that this whole move is bearish and that we're going to revisit 20k or even 30k. I'm saying that we may be in for a little bit deeper of a move than what most are expecting. So what would that look like exactly? And on top of that, if you go watch my last video explaining like why I'm so bullish, most of the levels that I was watching have now flipped and they're turning into bearish signals. Now, obviously, I could be wrong. So, you know, I've taken most of my positions off the table. I'm mostly sitting in USDT. I never owned much spot to begin with. So really, I did just get stopped on a few leverage positions. Unfortunate, but you can't be right every time. I just have to follow the strategy. Okay, so what would a deeper retrace look like? Okay, so just because we've invalidated one level, okay, and we invalidate on the FTX, chart doesn't mean that we're changing the entire trend. It may just mean that we're in for a slightly deeper retrace. And if we are going to retrace, then we would be looking for previous bullish levels, being bullish broken bases, which is just this pattern here. So since breaking this structure to the upside, we haven't really come back to test this level since. So I'm thinking if we can get a retest of this level and then reaccumulate, then that should be enough evidence to suggest that we will continue up. And I think this would flush most of the longs out of the market. Well, at least the higher leverage longs anyway. Okay, so what would that look like? A retrace down into here. On the lower time frames here, we're seeing manipulation. So below these lows. And then we broke above. So if we think about anyone who is short in this entire region of consolidation here. Oh, sorry about that. Where are they going to have their stop loss? Right above here or even above here. So preferably, I would like to see manipulation to the upside before continuing down. Okay, so we have a sweep just there. Breaking structure. So now if we can manipulate below these lows, which we just did, now I'll be looking for a long if I see the lower time frame pattern. Okay. All right. So now if we can break some structure here on the lower time frames to the upside, something like this, then we should be good to continue up to about 57.6, maybe a little bit higher, but I'll probably look to cut my longs around there. So if then we reach above this high and start to distribute, kind of like the distribution that we saw up here. So you have highs, we break below the low that swept the highs. Here, highs, break below the low that swept the highs, and then again. So this is what distribution looks like. This is what manipulation looks like. Just, okay. So if we start to see something similar to this, as we break above this high here, it would suggest that all of the sell orders and all the stops right above this high are being used to actually fill larger short positions. So something like this, followed by the pattern repeated inside itself on the lower time frames. But I would rather get long here, just keeping in mind we have these equal lows as well. And most altcoins are actually printing the same setup. I don't like to call double bottoms an actual reversal or bottom signal until unless the double bottom actually sweeps the previous bottom at least slightly. Okay, I don't like to call even lows a permanent low, but you know, I could be wrong. So if I'm going to look to get long around this zone if it reclaims this level and starts to print lower time frame accumulation. So I'll probably hold on to that until I see the distribution here, because of course I could be wrong and I would like to hold on to a possible bottom signal. But if we break above and revisit the previous low that was responsible for sweeping these highs then and start to redistribute, it's pretty much a solid sign that we're going to head a little bit lower, hopefully between 48 and 50k, and then we can resume up only. Alright, so it's pretty much the same similar kind of look for most of the altcoins here. There are a few outliers, of course, like Sol looks pretty good. Just delete this. So I am looking for a little bit of a retrace here. If we can get it into this level and then start to reaccumulate, then that'll be a solid signal to get long, either at this level here or all the way down at around $23. So there are a few alts that are looking good, but then there are some that are just, yeah, not looking good at all. I am leaning for a deeper retrace, but if the setups do print, then I will get long. Just trying to stay objective, staying off Twitter. No worries, guys. That's my update. All right, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, share, I'm sure you guys are getting a lot of value out of these, so I would appreciate the feedback. No worries. Have a good one. Bye.